was so exciting for us, and almost like a dream, because we didn't know anything about showbiz.
Let me ask you about the challenges of working with family members.
As we grew older, we started to have different creative ideas. We had so many ideas that we wanted to explore, and that was not always easy to do within the group. And so we branched off into individual musical pursuits. Slegendary is actually the second generation of Sister Sledge.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Erbe. Welcome to the Contrary, a weekly discussion of news and social trends from diverse perspectives. This week, for African American History Month, we have a very special guest. We have Debbie Sledge of the original group, Sister Sledge. You've of course heard their iconic music, such as We Are Family. I'm not going to try to sing it.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me.
But we're not only going to talk about the music we all danced to back in the 70s and ever since. Sister Sledge does not rest on her laurels. She's working with a whole new generation of sledges. They call themselves Slegendary. So welcome to the program, Debbie, and tell me about Slegendary and about your new songs.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And Slegendary is actually the second generation of Sister Sledge. It is my children. It consists of my children, Camille Sledge, David Sledge, Thaddeus Sledge, who is my sister's son, her only son, and he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. All of them, they're phenomenal performers. And Miss Tanya T.A., who is an excellent, she's phenomenal. It's such a pleasure to work with all of them. I'm discovering these hidden talents and this great, we have this great connection. We have this great chemistry as far as the mutual respect and the respect for the arts within us. So we're having a ball, and so we're calling ourselves Sister Sledge Features Slegendary, and we're coming out with a new song, and we're so excited about that. So there are writers among us, producers among us. The song is called Free, and we're so excited about releasing it, and it's going to be released soon, I believe on the 18th of February.
Terrific. And please tell me, let's go back to your beginnings in show business. What was it like to work with your sisters?
Well, first of all, we were pretty young when we started, so it was so exciting for us, and almost like a dream, because we didn't know anything about showbiz, not much at all. And so we had our mom, who's a very strong person, protecting us and standing up against anybody that came along that, she wanted to make sure that her daughters were protected. The exciting thing was to meet all of these iconic musicians and, people that we looked up to. So we spent a lot of time just learning, trying to learn what is it that makes a professional so awesome. And we also had mentors. Our grandmother was an opera singer, and she gave us some vocal lessons. We had wise women around us. My grandmother, my aunts, they would give us very great advice, like, you meet the same people rising up as you, or coming down as you do rising up, and treat everyone the same, give everyone respect. Things like appreciate what's going on around you, appreciate people who help you. appreciate those things.
Tell me who the big people in the business whom you met. You played at the White House. You played before, or you met with the Pope. You had all these incredible,
Yes.
once in a lifetime opportunities. Who did you meet back then? What did they tell you? How did they influence you?
I'm very grateful to say and happy to say that most of the artists that we met were very kind, and they were offered advice, which we just, took in like a sponge. There's Bill Withers, who is an awesome artist. We loved, working with him, just down to earth. There was Whitney Houston, who's just blew my mind, beautiful. Aretha Franklin, so strong. James Brown, and all of these people were so kind to us. And I'm just, I feel so very blessed and honored to have met these awesome icons of the artistry.
And what was the time frame for that, please?
Basically, this is over the years. I think I met Whitney Houston in the year 2000. We did a New Year's Eve show together. We met a lot of these wonderful artists during the Ali fights in Zaire, Africa. It was called the Rumble in the Jungle, as it was later called. And there were so many artists on that trip that we were just in heaven, just seeing as much as we could see, learning as much as we could learn, and it was just great.
And who gave you the best advice, and what was it?
Okay, that's a very good question. I think the best advice would have come from. I'll say. Well, there were so many different ones, but I'm thinking of Bill Withers. One of the things that we learned is to be professional, to show up on time, to do your job, and to walk kindly. And that's what I saw in most of these artists, that the ones who were actually on the top, who were at the top of their game, were the most humble, the most respectful. I think Bernard Edwards from Chic gave us that I'd say that I learned that from him, as he was such a gentleman and so professional, and he spoke kindly to us and pointed out things that we could change or things that we could do better, and I really appreciated that.
And now the music industry has changed so much. And of course, you're working with younger members of your family, presumably very internet savvy. What have you learned from them, and how have you changed what you do because of changes in the industry?
One of the things, well, we're learning how to, for one thing, I'm learning from them production, because I was never involved in that end. Oh, my sister actually was, Joni. She actually won an award, a Grammy nomination for her production of our CD called African Eyes. She won something for that, and I'm very proud of her. But I'm learning from this younger generation that side of the industry, which is production and being in tune with all different genres of music and incorporating that into your production. I'm amazed at what they're doing. They are doing some things that are island beats, some things that are African, some things that are house, and they are using those elements to come out with some some mind-blowing, for me, excellent, dance tunes. And they're also very aware of their messages. So, and that's, I'm very proud of that the messages mean something, because they realize that this is an influence. So they are thinking about what they're saying in the music.
You talk about your younger relatives being very keen on messaging. Was it possible when you were getting started in the 70s? Was it possible for young African American women to message, or were things so different in the country? Was racial bias even so much worse than it is now that you couldn't really message? You had to stick to love songs and dance, great beats and dance music.
Well, in the industry, yes, when we were coming up, we did not have a lot of say-so into what we actually sang in the studio, except to either do it or not do it. So there was some messaging that we just didn't do. But as far as our songs, we were writing songs back then, but nobody would listen to them. So then nobody would even know what we had to give in that sense. In the area of songwriting, my sisters are very talented songwriters. And Joni's music was never released right now, but she did produce another album which has all of her messaging in it, and it's excellent. She thought about it. She actually wrote songs about women's rights and songs that would actually give us a message of uplifting messages and strong messages of about how she felt about issues. That is what my children are doing now. They realize that music right now is very important to have something to say, and this is a way for us to let our voice be heard.
When you see some rap artists, what do you think? I'm thinking about Cardi B, for example, who uses a slur of 4-letter words in her music and uses the B word to talk about other women. And that does it sting you when you hear young artists doing those kinds of things now?
I'm going to say no, in the sense that I want an artist to express who they are and what they feel. In the sense of creativity, I don't think there should be anything holding that back. But on the other hand, I do feel that as artists, we do have a public voice, and we need to take that into account when we're speaking. We need to realize that we can have an influence. We can make change. We can direct the listener to another area of thought. In that sense, we can let people know. We can say things that are uplifting, and we can also direct. This is the way I feel. I feel that it's better to go this way, but this is my feeling. And those people who will benefit from that, or who listen to that, or who like that, they will choose that. I don't believe in saying, well, that's not good and that's not good.
And how do you feel about rap generally? Has it been
I think
good or bad for Black women?
Oh, there are, it's a genre that is, in the sense, rap is a great genre because you can express words and words may change. But on the other hand, as I was saying, there are people that are using that genre that they're using it in a way that it is detrimental, or it's downgrading someone else. It's downgrading. It might be downgrading to women. It might be downgrading, or it might be disrespectful to elders if it's influencing a young person's thought about authority or about their parents. Because I believe in honor. I believe in us as elders, and I consider myself one now, we have something to offer.
Believing in that, do you think that's cost you sales, record sales, and or of CD or live streaming, whatever? Do you think because you don't use the B word and the N word and a lot of these words that are used by rap artists today, has that cost you part of your audience?
It may have, but I feel richer because my freedom and my choice to express myself is more valuable than that. My choice to be happy is to love what I'm doing is more valuable than record sales, for instance.
Is that a kind of effect you would like to have on music? Or what would you say the impact of not just your group with your sisters, but your group with your younger family, your nieces and nephews and daughter? What impact have you had and would you like to have on music?
I'm very happy with the choice that we've made as a group, me and my sisters, because it has affected our children. It has affected other families, and we get so much feedback. And there's even our audiences to this day, wow, they're wild with excitement and joy. Having a rich life is not necessarily watching the record sales. And I believe actually we've done pretty good. Our record sales are great, and I believe they're going to continue. My joy is seeing people's lives affected. There's a lot of fun out there to be had.
Tell me some of the stories of what fans have told you over the years about how your music did influence them.
Oh, well, there's a very, my daughter pointed out the other day that if you are just looking on social media, there are millions of families from all over the world dancing and singing to We Are Family. And I was shocked. She showed me just recently. And it was such a pleasant surprise. I mean, it's coming from Africa. It's coming from well, of course, the UK. We have family in the UK. It's coming from all over the world, and it's just amazing. And they're telling their stories, and they're showing each other, the members of the family. So I just think it's awesome.
Last month, of course, we observed the Martin Luther King birthday. Tell me about how his life impacted you.
Greatly. Martin Luther King, as I was growing up as a little girl, he was on the scene, and I was around when he was murdered, when he died. My family, and I believe back then most families, looked at him as such an awesome, giant leader for peace and for dignity of the Black Americans. And there was a unity among Black Americans to have that sense of of pride and worth. And we did not buy the opposition that said, you don't deserve this, or you don't deserve that, or you can't excel, and you're not pretty, you're not intelligent. All these messages were coming along, but we knew that that wasn't the truth. And Martin Luther King was one of the icons who spoke the truth for everyone. He was a voice for the Black American race and for the world, actually.
Do you think I've heard some commentators say that their lives, he gave up his lives so theirs could be better. Would you say that as well?
I could say that, yes. I could say that, because in the sense he knew the danger that was around him, but it was much more important for him to speak that truth and to speak out on behalf of the people that he loved. And he loved all people, but he was a spokesman. He spoke the hearts of the Black Americans at that time. And he knew about the danger. Yeah.
He certainly did. Let me ask you about the challenges of working with family members and the benefits of working with family members.
Well, yes, I'll talk about the benefits first. The benefits of working around family members is there's so much fun. There's so much fun behind the scenes. We know each other so well. And I had the most comical sisters. We had some funny things going on. There was a lot of play acting going on. There was a lot of making each other laugh. I remember that very well. I remember also just harmonizing and singing. That was one of the things that was very important to us. So in that sense, it was a pleasure. Just rehearsals, a pleasure recording.
And the downside.
Okay, on the downside, it was also very hard, but it's easier when there's family members around and you keep a good attitude and you're still joking. We've had some very, very demanding tours, but that is much easier when you're around family because we're watching out for each other. On the downside, as we grew older, we started to have different creative ideas. And when you have a bunch of strong-willed women in one room and they all have a strong opinion about this is the way this song should go, this is the way this song should go, no, I think it should go this way, that became a little bit on the downside. So we decided that it depended on what song we were singing as to who would sing lead. So if the song, for instance, required a lot of belting, big, strong voice, that would be either Kathy or Joni. Kim and I have softer voices. If it was a ballad or something like that, then it would be me or Kim. But as we got older, everybody then, all of us became so, we had so many ideas that we wanted to explore. And that was not always easy to do within the group. And so we branched off into individual musical pursuits because when you have something that's burning in you as an artist, you want to do it. You want to get it done. But right now, what we're dealing with in Slegendary is the same thing. But it's not on the downside because we decided we're going to support each other. If you want to do that kind of music, we're going to support it. And we're going to get it to its greatest perfection. And then we'll call it a Slegendary if you want it. And if it's not a Slegendary tune, if you want to do it as an individual artist, we support that too.
I want to thank you so much, Debbie Sledge, for spending this time with us. We really wish you all great success with the Slegendary band that you're now, another part of your family are now your partners in music. That's it for this edition. Please keep this conversation going with us on Twitter, on Facebook and Instagram. Please visit our PBS webpage, pbs.org/to the contrary. And whether you agree or think to the contrary, see you next time.
Funding for To the Contrary provided by the E. Rhodes and Leona B. Carpenter Foundation, the Colcom Foundation, and the Charles A. Freoff Foundation. For a transcript or to see an online version of this episode of To the Contrary, please visit our PBS website at pbs.org/To the Contrary.
Be more. PBS.